Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Red Brothers Pod. I'm Victor,
And I'm Alex.
and you guys will be joining us today for a very, very, very special episode as Liverpool are now officially champions of England.
I think we knew this was going to happen probably about 20 games ago.
Yeah, I think the title race ended probably about 2 months ago. I think it was clear sort of from that around time frame that Liverpool would go on to win it, and it ended up being a formality.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure how we're gonna do in this Spurs game. I mean, we get there, 1-0 down straight away, and I'm thinking there's
Just for
way.
context, guys, there'll be an episode out of it
soon.
But we went to Liverpool to celebrate winning the league with obviously Liverpool fans outside Anfield.
Yeah.
So we turn up about 2 hours before the game to meet the boss, greet the boss, and then we went to a pub to watch the game, and within the first 5 minutes we're 1-0 down.
I was thinking,
brilliant. So we've just driven 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours from Peterborough to fucking Liverpool.
that was devastating.
To watch us go 1-0 down, and
That was devastating.
I'm thinking today has to be the day. There is no way that I don't want no next week or wait for today is the day, and ultimately it was.
I would have been so disappointed is if Arsenal dropped points next week, and that's how we won the league.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So obviously they played Palace right before sort of the midweek before we played Spurs, and obviously they drew 2-2, which was just enough for us to be able to win it by winning at Anfield or drawing at Anfield. And obviously we did get over the line, but it was definitely a bit of a emotional roller coaster for that first 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
The Gakpo overhead kick attempt, that sent the pub into mayhem.
That was
we all
crazy.
thought it went in. I saw it in the back of the net myself. It was definitely an emotional first sort of 10 minutes, and then Liverpool just continued with their relentless pressure.
With the game with so much surrounding the game, with the atmosphere and after the game celebrations and everything that was just around the match, it made it hard to remember a lot of moments in that match.
I remember a lot.
I remember a lot, however, not as much as I would if I normally.
Well, yeah, of course. When you're watching a game at a pub like that, we spend more time singing and chanting than we did watching the game.
Definitely.
That's normal. Like I said, emotional first 10 minutes. Obviously, Gakpo has that overhead kick attempt. Then Spurs go on and score, and then obviously couple of minutes later, Diaz replies back, and then McAllister scores another worldie.
I think that McAllister goal is one of my favourite ever Liverpool goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one that won the league in theory. Yeah, it puts us 2-1
It was technically the winner.
Yeah,
it got us in front. So, I think that was such that I'm gonna remember that goal, and I'm gonna correlate that goal with McAllister for the rest of my life.
I mean, my favourite one was Fulham away, Fulham at home last year. Where he just half volleys it from 600 yards out, and it flies to the top right. But
when my grandparents asked me how good was McAllister, I mean, no, my grandchildren. It's a rough one today, lads. My grandchildren asked me what McAllister was like. I'm telling them about that goal.
Well, he only scored bangers. What else is there to say? It's unbelievable. This guy's goal catalogue is ridiculous.
Genuinely.
I watched a TikTok the other day, and it was like, this guy only scores bangers, and it's fact. Look at his last 3 goals. So the first one was Newcastle at Anfield, where he wrapped it into the top corner.
That's how we knew.
It was close-ish, but sort of close to the goal. It was in the penalty box, but he still wrapped it in the top corner.
Yeah.
Then, again, the next goal he scored was Fulham away. Just absolute thunder, can't see it. Rocket it straight past the keeper. No chance he's saving it. Got a glove on it, but the shot was that powerful, it just goes through his glove. And obviously, the most recent one now, the Tottenham one, again, weak foot. Yeah. That's not easy. Weak foot, left foot, shot. Boom, just flies past the keeper. He didn't even have a chance.
Amazing. I think Tottenham was really poor, though.
Yeah.
I think they were so poor. They gave up the ball so many times.
The problem with Tottenham is just like you said, it's with Ange. They try play this expansive football, playing out the back, really high line, But I think the problem that you then start to see with it, which we have been seeing, hence why they're 16th, is that when you play against a team that can punish you, they will. And we punished them almost every time they made a mistake. And again, when they play at Ipswich or anyone, that might not happen. Yeah, okay, you might get capitalised on a mistake here and there. It happens, but when you play these big teams with these really quality players that with one touch or one pass can take 3 or 4 players from your team out the game. You can't afford to be making mistakes. And even if you look at McAllister's goal, that comes from a mistake from their player. It was the Udogi, I think, the left back. Plays it back into the middle across the box. Gravenberch takes it off of their midfielder, and they have a little tussle, and it falls right to McAllister and flies in. So this is what I mean. You get punished for mistakes at this level, and they're just so prone to mistakes.
And they had so many mistakes, and but the football doesn't work because you're thinking you're passing out from the back, but their goalkeeper kept trying to play these diags that just weren't working, and Robbo claimed so many balls just.
Or they just went out for throw-ins.
Yeah, exactly.
It was either hitting our full-backs, and we were dealing with it quite easily, or he was just putting them into the stands.
Exactly. So there was literally, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really see what their plan was behind that game. I mean, they go 1-0 up, which was great for them, but again, it happens. It was a corner, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Happens.
It happens. It's just unfortunate. It was, probably Gravenberch and Konate sleeping at that back post, and they get done by Solanke. It does happen, but again, at the end of the day, it's about how we respond and how we react to that. And I've said it countless times before. It's easy to find yourself in an unfortunate situation, let your head drop and do nothing about it, or you can keep your head up and go, right, what are we going to reply with now? And that's what Liverpool did, and the reply was more than enough. We gave them 5 unanswered.
Yeah, I agree. They were totally poor. But I like to say some of these goals scored in this game, they weren't just regular goals.
That Gakpo finish and that tight of a gap in between the defenders, the way he's managed to just lift the ball and slightly almost dink it over the keeper's hand, that was a beautiful finish with so little space and time. And I think this is what I like about Gakpo so much. I don't know if you remember, but last year when we played Spurs away, that Diaz disallowed goal, he scored again away at Tottenham. And it was one of these where the ball was behind him and instinctively he span and just hit it and it went in. And that's what Gakpo is really good at, just these instinctive little finishes, whether it's a tap in or, he puts it across the keeper or he puts it in the corner. He seems to have it all in his locker, and it's good to see him back on the score sheet and back performing. Because
I agree.
for large amounts of the season, he's been one of our key players, him and Salah on either wing. Obviously, with Diaz rotating with him, that's a scary recipe, and obviously, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, exactly.
Say more.
Yeah, I mean, part of the own goal and the first goal, all great goals.
But the first goal was a great team goal. Look, the ball goes out to Salah, who then plays a lovely little weighted ball around the corner to Szoboszlai, who runs up to him, puts it across the box. It's perfect. This is the goals that Man City were scoring religiously when they had their era of dominance. That would be considered a Man City goal, and that's what I'm saying. You need these efficient plays, these moves where everything moves as it's supposed to. He overlaps here, he underlaps here, he finds space here, puts it across the box to a man that's open, and that's how you score. And obviously, very, very close to being offside. I think there's about that much in it on Szoboszlai, but he's one I wanted to discuss today. Really good performance.
Yeah, I agree.
As always against Spurs. And do you know what I think, though? I think that plays into our point that I made, at least, a couple of weeks back, where certain games just suit Szoboszlai better because of his skill set.
I agree.
And some games would suit Elliott better, sorry. So in this instance, where he can run through that midfield, Tottenham are going to leave gaps in behind. They have a high line, so the opportunity to get the legs in behind is there. and he worked perfectly for this game. And this is what I'm trying to say. There's certain games that Szoboszlai really fits like a glove, and then that's when he has these performances. City, Spurs, these big teams that don't sit back, that'll play you at your own game, and you'll ultimately beat them at that game. But when you play a Forest, when you play one of the relegation sides and all these other teams, it's probably better to have an Elliott in there that can create when there's 11 men behind the ball, because that's the thing with Szoboszlai. Yeah, he gets 2 assists against Spurs, but he's not the most creative player. You know, one of them is a cutback across the box. Anyone, of course, not anyone. It's still a really good pass. It had the right way. It landed perfectly. But, you know, you'd expect a player to make that pass.
Yeah.
And the other one, I can't remember who he assisted to the second time. But, yeah, again, they're not like flashy, brilliant through balls or passes. They're just keeping it simple, and that's what he's really good at.
That is, yeah. But I think we expected something different when we first signed him.
Oh yeah, we expected an all-out number 10.
Yeah, exactly, and I think
he's more of a 8. He's more of a deeper midfielder than I'd say a 10.
Yeah, and when he first came in, I was asking questions. Why has he got that number 8 shirt and McAllister's got number 10? I thought it should have been the other way around.
Yeah.
I think it would have suited them better. But now in this Slot system, I think clearly he's seen the number on his shirt and he's like, yeah, all right, this is his role now.
Well, Klopp played him deeper than Slot did. Klopp played him as an 8. He plays as a 10.
Yeah, true. Yeah, now we play with a double pivot, so it makes sense. McAllister is a lot deeper than he was. However, I want to touch on last episode. I said we're going to struggle against Leicester, and we're going to batter Tottenham, and that's exactly what we did. What a prediction by me.
To be fair, though, predicting us to batter Spurs. I think
how much goals have we scored against them? 15 this season. 15 against one team this season. Isn't that the most?
We equalised the record, for the most goals scored against a single team in a season. I think the other one was like Barnet or something in the 90s. So yeah, absolutely mental. Yeah. But we have played them how many times now? 4?
4. Yeah, and one of them we didn't score.
Yeah, they won 1-0 at their ground. And we beat them 4-0 away.
4-0 second leg.
And then 6-3 and 5-1.
Yeah.
We always seem to concede. You can't keep a clean sheet against them. But that's the type of side they are. They're still really dangerous going forward.
It's weird because they've got a good team. Well, decent team. They're not horrible, but they're struggling so much.
It's badly coached. It's simple. I quite like Ange, actually. So I
feel like a lot of Spurs fans do as well.
Of course, he's their manager.
Yeah, but I know. But when he's putting up, where are they? 15th.
Well, yeah,
in the
but
league.
they're also the closest they've ever been to a trophy in how many years?
Yeah, true. That's true.
What I mean. You've got to consider all these different factors. So I like Postecoglou. I like the way he tries to play, but with the injuries they've had, this is what the problem is with him. With the injuries they've had throughout the season, not just now, and with obviously some of the players not being as good as maybe we thought they were or he thought they were. He has to adapt and change systems. You can't be rigid. You can't stay the same because that's how you get found out. And he's very stubborn. He doesn't change system at all. And that's what made Arne Slot so great this year, because it's the fluidity in different systems and different build-up styles, different patterns of play and all these different things where, you think you have us figured out? Let's go into gear 5.
I think we saw that against City the most.
Yeah, exactly. It shows exactly my point.
Yeah.
So it shows that even if we need to be, we can be a team that can sit back and just counter and pick our moments. And like you just mentioned correctly, that's exactly what the City game was. You know, they had loads of the ball, probably had more shots than us, but in reality, we controlled the game because they couldn't get anywhere near our goal.
Yeah.
And we were just taking it off them and going, right, we'll just play it around for a bit, and then next time we'll take it off. We'll hit a counter attack, and it was just picking and choosing your moments, and exactly. And I think that that's something that Postecoglou lacks, that fluidity and that ability to change things in the moment and realise stuff that's happening on the pitch. You know, like if your wing back's constantly inverting and their left winger is absolutely burning down the wing, you're not going to keep inverting your fullback because you need to make sure that the winger's there. But Postecoglou inverts both his fullbacks, so what do you expect?
Yeah, it's not going to work against Salah and Gapco,
exactly.
to be fair.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of been the key problem for them. As much as I like him, I think he's just a bit stubborn and rigid, and I think that we see it in the performances and the lack of sort of shift. Even when they had 9 men versus versus Chelsea last year, he was still playing on the halfway line with your defensive line, which is just ridiculous. But anyways, we've spoken about Spurs quite a bit. Let's sort of go back to our performance. So I think we got to the Gakpo goal, and the fourth goal was obviously Salah himself. And when he cuts in on that left foot, it's just cash money, isn't it?
It is, but I think we've seen that Leicester. Like, I think his catalogue of goals has kind of increased. I think we've seen him cutting in and scoring that type of goal less this season. Would you agree?
No, remembering a lot of the older Salah seasons, which obviously you wouldn't have. No, he's always been like this. He scores all sorts of different goals, but in reality, all of his goals are him cutting in, because he cuts in from the right wing.
No, as in what I mean is that he's on that right wing. He straight in cuts in, and like for example, against his goal against Chelsea,
Brighton. Again this season, there was one Bologna in the Champions League. I could sit here and name
Okay, fair enough.
It happens, but yeah, really good to see him. Obviously, burns past Udogie and rifles it in bottom left corner of the keeper's side. And yeah, it was a really good finish again, and another goal contribution for him.
Yeah, it was kind of worrying because he hasn't scored a goal in how many other games was it?
When was the last goal he scored? Was it Southampton? He scored a penalty that Nunes won, and that was before the second PSG leg.
Yeah.
So after that, who did we play?
After PSG? I don't think he scored since
then. It was Newcastle after PSG didn't score. Then it was international break, and then Everton.
Yeah. And then Leicester.
Did he score against Everton?
I don't think so.
Jota did. And then after Everton, it was... It wasn't Leicester. That was last weekend. After Everton, it was Fulham, which he didn't score.
Yeah.
And then after Fulham, it was... Who was after Fulham? West Ham, which he didn't score, I don't think. It was Van Dijk, and I can't remember who the other scorer was. And then, yeah, obviously, Leicester, he didn't score. So, yeah, he's finally back on the GA charts after a couple of weeks off. But, again, it's not too much of a concern. When you have sort of the squad that we have, you can find those goals in other places.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Over the season, of course, at certain points, such as the PSG games, maybe Nottingham Forest earlier in the season, but as an overall, I think we can replace his goal contributions pretty well with the rest of the players in our teams.
Definitely.
For a match or two when necessary.
Yeah, definitely. Even if he has a bad run of form, though, eventually, like you said, we can replace it, and then it's key because once he is on good form, it's full on him. All these GA that he's getting, he'll get streaks of goals and assists game after game after game, and it's like every single score sheet you'll see Salah and Salah's name only sometimes.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's so impressive.
I mean, he's carried us countless games this season.
Yeah,
Newcastle away, I think, is the biggest example of it. 2-1 down, Trent comes on, all of a sudden scores 2-1 the goals, like beautiful finishes, really instinctive, and this is what I mean. He's just that sort of player, and yeah, really good that he's staying for another 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. Very happy about that. It's some good news at the end of a very good season.
So, as we're just talking about the end of the season, just as a sort of little special for tonight's being the champions of England again, what's been your favourite moment of the season?
Well, there's been a lot. I mean, 3-0 Man United at the start of the season. Then we got tested with Manchester City. We got tested with Real Madrid,
well,
Leverkusen.
Let's keep it to Premier League because obviously it's the Premier League thing.
I don't know, both the City games were great. I loved both the
answer?
But both the City games were great. I also love Brentford. With Nunes.
The 2 Nunes winners.
That was amazing. That was amazing. It's so hard to pick.
For me, it has to be City away. Just the message it sent out to the rest of the world that we're serious and we're winning this league. And I think that was right about after we dropped points to Everton and Villa. So it was crucial that we got 3 points against City. And rocking up there with the pressure we had on us to stay top. Obviously, Arsenal were closing in just before they lost to West Ham. That weekend, actually, that was the big swing of the season. It was the sort of the big tail that we beat City and they lost to West Ham, and that's where we won the league, in my opinion. But anyways, so the City one, it has to be City away for me, simply because it was a massive moment. It was a massive marker put down. We haven't won away at the Etihad since 2015-16. So doing it again in a season where we win the Premier League, Klopp couldn't win at the Etihad away in the Premier League, and Slot's managed to do it in his first year. So again, that's nothing to disregard or disrespect Klopp, because Klopp, in my opinion, is still a way better manager than I think Arne Slot could ever be, even though Slot's done this in his first season. But I think that was just really, really key in the season. It was a massive marker laid down for the rest of the league to show our intentions, and we followed through with them intentions.
I think the fact we kept 2 clean sheets against them, which sent out a message, like you said, I think mentally to Arsenal, being like, you're
especially
not winning this league.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, again, Arsenal away, that was a really big moment. That Salah goal, Nunes assist, puts it across the box, Salah just finesses it bottom left. Just key moment again. That was sort of last 10 to 15 minutes of the game as well, so it was really important. What else have we got?
Well, I mean, I find it funny how we had a big test in fixtures, how we didn't play anyone good yet, how
so at the start of the season, when we had to play Newcastle, City, Real Madrid and all these other teams, Leverkusen, everyone was like, Liverpool aren't going to get through this, look at that fixtures. We get through it. Liverpool they've not played anyone hard. Whenever they play someone, their best player's injured, whatever. Just shut up.
Exactly.
I've just had enough. Honestly, if
we
you
get
don't
lucky?
think Liverpool deserve this Premier League title, you've lost your whole mind. There's a reason why we're 14 points clear of Arsenal, and the only people you should blame, if you believe that this was a poor Premier League season, is the rest of the teams in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Look, Forest, top 4, Bournemouth in and around Europe at the midway point of the season. All these teams that are smaller teams are doing big things, but just because you're a big team and you had a shit season, that's now our fault, and who cares about the title?
And if you check our point tally, especially adding the potential games that we could still get points from, which we will, we're gonna have let's say we lose one game, alright, cool. We still have nearly around 90 points. That's enough to win you the league in almost every single Premier League season.
We've already achieved more points than, so there was only 2 Premier League winning sides that had more points when they won the league than us. And that was City in 17-18, and it was us in 2019-20. So this is exactly my point. This isn't a bad season. This isn't anything like that. It's just that people have been so brainwashed by that Klopp Guardiola era where it was 99 points, 100 points, 98 points, 97 points. That is not normal, and people need to understand that is not the standard. That was a ridiculously high bar that was set that no 2 teams will ever reach again. There won't be another title race like Liverpool City in 18-19, because there'll never be one team that gets 99 and the other one that gets 98. There'll never be this much in a title race because John Stones cleared it off the line. This is what I mean. And for all these people saying that we got lucky, no one deserves this luck more than us. Last season, how many decisions? Odegaard, Luis Diaz at Tottenham, McAllister, the tackle by Doku. How many decisions went against us that cost us that league title in the end? Of course, we didn't get over the line either. Totally understand. It was also on us losing to Palace at home. However, if you have those points from them decisions, the likelihood is with the momentum you get by beating City, Arsenal and Tottenham at them points in the season that you go on to win the league, and that's how it works. So again, we then go back another few years, 18-19, Stones clears it. It was this much away from us winning a treble, going invincible, and winning the league with 100 points. We were this far away. So now I'm meant to sit here and go, yeah, to be fair, fuck the title because we got lucky, when I've had to experience some of the most gut-wrenching footballing moments anyone's ever experienced. Because I guarantee your team hasn't had 98 points and not won the league. If they've ever won a league, that is, of course. So this is exactly my point. And then not only is it now all these different excuses blaming the level of the Premier League or anything like that, just have a think about this, guys. If Liverpool did not win the league this season and they did not win the league in 2020, Manchester City would have won 8 Premier Leagues in a row. We would have been a farmers' league. So if you guys enjoy a Premier League where we know who the champion is every season, and that's for 8 years in a row, and obviously next season they'll probably win it again, let's be honest. So if you want a Premier League like that, have fun. But in reality, you lot should be thanking Liverpool for making this league at any point entertaining, because otherwise it'd be another Bundesliga, it'd be another Liga where you know Bayern are winning it, you know that PSG are winning it.
Yeah.
No one cares to watch it because the outcome is already decided before the season. So again, if you believe that these Liverpool titles are pointless or whatever bullshit that you have going on in your head, just remember that if we didn't win those titles, City would have 8 in a row. That is ridiculous. 8 in a row.
It's the point is that we went 26 games unbeaten at one point.
That's the most. That's the most games that a team has gone unbeaten in one singular season. That's never happened before.
Exactly.
Not Pep Guardiola's 100-point team. Not Klopp's Champions League winning a 98-point team. None of them teams went on a run like this. But we're lucky. We're lucky champions. PGM.
All that it is. But the only reason you can blame us for having such an easy run for the title is that opposition.
Exactly.
Arsenal
fans are now commenting that this is the easiest league ever and all of this shit. But in reality, that says more about Arsenal than it does about Liverpool.
If it's the easiest league ever, then
listen,
win it.
Just to wrap up this sort of segment of the podcast, winners win, losers lose and make excuses. So you keep making excuses. You keep commenting that, no one cares about your title, because me and Alex here, we actually got to celebrate a title on Sunday. I don't think you did. So you guys enjoy your comments. We'll enjoy our title. Thank you.
That is what it is, though. Because you don't listen. And also, against the champions, we went 2-0, one away and home, 2-0 both games.
Over the both games.
Against the champions. So hand it over Manchester. That's what I want to say.
Can we have a song?
Go on then. Hand it over, hand it over, hand it over Manchester.
Should we give one to Arsenal again? Second again.
Ole, ole.
Anyways,
that's just what it is.
Player ratings.
Yeah,
I think it's that time of the pod.
It's so unlucky that Alisson conceded.
Yeah.
But
listen, there's one solution to this debate.
7.
No, are you mad? Just won the Premier League. I'm going Alisson 10, Trent 10, Konate 10, Van Dijk 10, Robertson 10, Gravenberch 10, McAllister 10, Szoboszlai 11, Salah 11, Diaz 10, and Gakpo 12.
I agree with all of that, except Trent gets a 6 because he's leaving.
Trent gets a 6, the rest gets a 10. Arne Slot, let's just talk about him. We've got a few minutes to kill since we've just given everyone 10s. So let's just talk about Slot. Let's talk about Slot, baby.
Where can I start?
Oh my god, what a man. Who knew a bold man could have this much aura?
How many people like knew him?
Bro, like
before?
I kind of knew him because I remember when he was in a title race with Ajax for the Eredivisie in COVID, and then that got all messed up by COVID. So I was briefly aware of him, but never did I think he could do this.
Yeah, never.
Honestly,
so
before
impressive.
the season, what were we saying? We thought that we'd be struggling to get Champions League.
Yeah, so many people said we're 5th. All my friends were telling me Liverpool.
I thought we'd get Champions League quite easily, but there'd be points in the season where it'd be a bit tough. But How wrong was we?
So wrong, and it's so crazy. We've had so many discussions before the start of the season, how we missed Klopp already, and the season hasn't even started, and all this. But
And now it's like we don't even not remember. That's the wrong.
Yeah,
but it's like we don't even miss him anymore because
we don't need him. That's
exactly.
the point.
And the memories and all the great times, they all remain and stay.
Yeah,
But Slot's just come in and just I don't know, mate. It's mental.
Came in just was like, yeah, he literally broke all the rules of the Premier League. No one beats City at home, and he's just bang.
No one beats City, both. I think other than Brentford a couple of years ago, no one beats City over 2 games in the Prem. Both games. No one keeps 2 clean sheets against them.
And no one goes 26 games unbeaten and then gets it called the easiest Premier League in history. Only a bold man can do that.
Exactly. Arteta and his Lego head could never.
Exactly. But what I love about him is that he can have a humour. He talks.
Yeah, I love the way he is with the press.
Yeah.
Like, I love listening to his interviews, and he says just enough, but just enough to keep you thinking. And, you know what I mean. And the way he is with all the sort of the broadcasters and all of this, it's great to see. And what a guy, what a man.
Yeah, I love how he's already trying to get involved. What he wants though is he wants to get adored how Klopp was adored.
But you know what it is? I probably, yes, in the long run. But I think what was key about him coming in is he never tried to force that bond and that relationship. He came in and he said, you had Klopp, and I understand. You need time to get over the fact that he's left. So I'm just going to come in. I'm going to do my thing. I'm not going to be too pushy. I'm not going to try too hard to, like, make you guys fall in love with me. I'll just make my football make you fall in love with me. And as the season's gone on, we've naturally stopped thinking about Klopp more and more and started praising and realising how good Slot is. And now, naturally, we build that bond with him to the point where it just feels right now.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. So I think what was key in his success is that he didn't come in, he didn't try to force things, he didn't try to do a massive overhaul. He stuck with what he was given. He took the situation at hand, which was a really tough situation. And like I said, he didn't force the relationship with us. He just let it naturally pan out because he knew that the football and the results would naturally come, and that would bring.
And he had faith in the players as well, because we have the same squad as last year, so we have faith. We literally we signed Mashfadili and loaned him back.
Yeah, and then obviously Chiesa coming in, who's played about 3 Premier League games for about a combined of 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, obviously I'm not the gaffer and I haven't won the Prem.
But
listen to this. I would. Yeah, go on.
Do you know who's going to win our signing of the season?
It was Chiesa.
Yeah. That's mental, isn't it? Because he's the only one.
but I think he should have some more trust in players. I'm not the gaffer, but this is my opinion and my opinion only. I think he should have more trust in players.
Again, but I think we've spoken about this before, and the thing that we don't see is training.
And also that Plymouth performance, which we did see.
That
might have put him back on the pecking order by about 4 spots.
So, yeah, I mean, sort of looking forward to next season, there's definitely points we can improve on. The squad we can improve on for sure.
And I think
we will. So
finally,
really exciting time for next season. It's been a great season this season. And of course, we're not done yet, guys. We've still got Chelsea to play, Arsenal, Palace, someone else as well. I can't remember.
Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton. So yeah, we're still not done, guys. So feel free to tune into our next episodes.
Yeah,
we'll of course be here and
celebrating still.
Yeah, exactly that. So, and of course, as well, we'll soon have the video out from going to Anfield.
Tune into that one.
And also the parade on the 26th, which we will be going for, and we will be vlogging as well. So loads of content to look forward to, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.